Have I ever expressed how amazing Jet Set Radio fans are? I have? Well, it's time for me to do it again. Jet Set Radio Heroes is a fan-made project that was headed by creator AXEL Massa, who also goes by the handle AXEL 2009. AXEL Massa is a French character designer, animator, and layout artist who has worked on various animated shows such as Dorohedoro, Lazarus, The Witcher, Sirens of the Deep, Twilight of the Gods, both shows that are on Netflix by the way, and Kizazi Moto Generation Fire. A strong resume of projects that they've worked on. If you want to see the rest of the projects he has worked on, you could check out his webpage along with checking out his socials such as his X account, as well as his YouTube and Instagram, which will be in the link in the description below. The guy does a lot of cool stuff. Which leads us to Jet Set Radio Heroes, which got first teased on February 21st, 2025, which for those who don't know, is the day before Jet Set Radio Future was released back in 2002 on February 22nd, and it was turning 23 this year. God, I can't believe Jet Set Radio Future is 23 years old. It garnered a lot of attention from the community, including me, particularly because it was a rarity that Jet Set Radio Future would get something like this when Sega, and by extension most of the community, solely focused on the original game. Fast forward to March 10th, and it was released on YouTube. And yeah, it's one of the coolest things I've ever seen in my life. As someone who probably glazes Jet Set Radio Future bigger than the average person on the internet, seeing one of my favorite games get a fan project get this high of a production value just brought a wide smile on my face. Not only is it just so beautifully animated and really fluid in its movement, it perfectly matches the energy of how cartoony Jet Set Radio is. Seeing the pop-up bubble squishing beat, Hayashi's comically large ahoge, the way DJ Professor K's hair moves around as he speaks like in the original game, the animation captures it really well. Also, can we talk about how Shibuya Terminal and Rokaku Dai looks in this animation? It's so beautiful. Beat actually does one of his tricks from the game in this animation. Also, Gum looks absolutely stunning as well. There's also tons of cameos that you can check out in this thread on his X account. Shout out to my boy False Proof, he actually made it in there. When the video finished, it honestly left me wanting more. They also did release character sheets for both Beat and Gum on their X account, and they both just look so darn good. These are my two favorite looks for these characters, and seeing them in 2D form like this is such a treat, especially when 2D promotional art for these versions of the characters are a rarity. Jet Set Radio Heroes is a pitch for an animated series that would follow the events of Jet Set Radio Future and have a much deeper interpretation of the story, which is a cool idea. Out of the two games, Future is the one that has a tiny bit more depth to it, especially with the many special interactions present in the game that gives the characters more of a personality. The goal, being as a community, we could potentially push this idea of an animated series to Sega to put into consideration, which I think is a pretty admirable task. Axel even gave me the opportunity to do an interview with them and help spread more word on the project. I am very grateful for the opportunity to do so, and I was able to ask him a couple of interview questions, and here are the responses from the interview. I hope you all enjoy it.
Hi everyone, my name is AXEL Massa. I'm a French animator, character designer and director. I'm working in the animation industry. I've worked actually in Japan at Studio Mappa. You probably know it for Attack on Titan, but I worked on Dorohedoro and Project Lazarus, directed by Shinichiro Watanabe. He's the guy who did Samurai Champloo, Cowboy Bebop, Space Dandy, this kind of stuff, so really cool project. I also worked in Korea at Studio Mir on The Witcher, of the Deep. I also had a little gig on a Disney production, Kizazi Moto Generation Fire. And I also worked on Zack Snyder Twilight of the God for Netflix, and probably like a bunch of other stuffs. So yeah, thanks for having me. So how did I become a fan of Jet Set Radio? So basically, I've always been like a big fan of extreme sport and anime, but as a child I was really fearful, so I basically took refuge in video game to fulfill like all the stuff I wanted to do, and drawing of course. So basically, one day I was moving from PlayStation 2 toward the next Xbox, so the first Xbox. And with the Xbox came Sega GT 2002 mixed with Jet Set Radio Future. And basically, as a child, I just saw the cover of Jet Set Radio Future. I was just like, it looks cool. I want to play that game. So I played the game, and it was like love at first sight. Concept of love started. I saw all the cool characters doing cool stuff in futuristic skate, and I was just like, okay, we're gonna go with that. And yeah, after that, it was basically cool characters, like what the fuck story. Like I honestly did not understood a thing because I was not speaking English, so everything that the DJ was saying was like nonsense to me, but I was just going with the flow. And yeah, no, I don't know, like the music, the aesthetic, all the vibe, the dance, it really spoke to me as a child. Question 2. What was the inspiration for you wanting to create Jet Set Radio Heroes? Yeah, so for me it was quite sudden. I worked on several animated adaptation projects professionally. Some were great, other a bit less successful, and I asked myself how would I adapt something I love and being able to share that love with fans to please like the fans and a new audience and manage to keep something like entertaining, like it's quite a balance. And so I went back to my first love, so video game, anime and stuff like that. And as a child, I would have loved to see like all my favorite video games being like anime. It happened like I discovered it was possible when I saw the first Street Fighters anime, and I was just like, that's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. So I really wanted that for my favorite video game, which never happens except for Tekken. And it was cool. Honestly, like I'm an easy public. I was really happy with that. But basically, I went back to the video game I like and I tried to write stuff. So I thought about Dead or Alive, Jet Set Radio, SSX, these kind of stuffs. And now that I have the skills to do it, I think, one day that I was like a bit like between two jobs, I said myself, why not? Like, let's just try to do something. So, question 3. The whole project took 3 months to produce, I think. Yeah, I had the first ideas about Jet Set Radio Heroes around October 2024. I started the production for real by November 2024 and I finished it by January 2025. Keeping in mind that I had to stop working for the festivities and I fell ill by the beginning of January. So yeah, basically it was about that. I also had to take like a few extra steps to build a pitch document to send to the broadcaster, the studios. So yeah, it was about like a few illustration, 25 character design. So basically all the character for the cast of the project. And a lot of fun to do, but a lot of work, a lot of writing, a lot of drawings. And I hope I will be able to share that one day. So for the favorite part, I think it was definitely character design. I'm a character designer at heart and I love doing that. So doing character design on a project I really love, it was amazing. So yeah, character design for sure. And for the most difficult part, I think it was definitely the storyboard. So the storyboard is like a montage of drawing you do before to visualize the cinematographic sequence you're working on. And I'm really bad at that and it scares me, to be honest. But yeah, basically I did it anyway. It was shitty, it's really ugly and you will probably see that in the making of. But yeah, we had to pass by the storyboard to start the animation, so I did. It was terrible, but it's done. Question 4. Which character from the game is the one I like the most? Well, I think it would be really easier to check who I don't really care about, because the cast is really absolutely stellar. But I think my favorite character is probably like, yeah, Rith Mew. Yeah, she was my favorite. She had like a cool and clear personality that I understood without speaking English. The relationship too, especially with Yo-Yo, I thought it was really cute, and she had a good design overall. Like it was in Jet Set Radio and Jet Set Radio Future, her design were really consistent in my opinion, and I used to draw her a lot. So yeah, I really loved her back in the day. Now, if you ask me, with a few years of playing Jet Set Radio and studying it, I think I would go with Yo-Yo. She's really like cool character, nice arc in the story, and he's the one we're playing in future, so that was cool. And while working on the character arcs for Jet Set Radio Heroes, I actually had like a lot of fun thinking about the character of Gum and Beat. So yep, I think this one. But yeah, no, the cast of this game were really excellent, way away of their time. Question 5, the voice actors. So, I'm gonna be transparent. I really don't get the hype about the voice acting. I think like you find an actor that have the vibe you're looking for and you go with that. But it's really funny, like for all the project I have, especially for adaptation, people are really, really into voice acting. So, yes, I guess. That being said, for Jet Set Radio, I think there is only one character I really, really, really care about the voice acting, and it would be DJ Professor K, and I would love to have. That's really like theoretical, okay? But I would love to have Samuel L. Jackson as DJ Professor K. I think it would be so amazing. Like his performance in Afro Samurai was so cool that I think he would make like an amazing DJ Professor K. And even him as a person, like this man who've been through so many things, being the lead of a rebellion, I think it would be really powerful. Question 6. What kind of story aspect of Jet Set Radio Future would you expand with Jet Set Radio Heroes? So my answer gonna be short for that. I really want to focus on characters. I really want to emphasize more the Rudies as a community with like different opinion, of course, but they are still kind of a community of marginalized people, and their fight against the government and the authority. Basically, that's the main point. And in these big ideas, we're gonna dig and see about like other like specific ideas. But yeah, basically that would be a nice, for me, like a nice parallel to what's going on like these days and everything, and how marginalized people can stick together to move what's going on in the world. So yeah, basically that would be that, balanced with like hardcore, like ecstatic animation about like the street challenges. So basically races, death balls, capture the flag, this kind of stuff, like all the thing we have in Jet Set Radio. Having that the dance, like I would like to put an emphasis on the hip-hop culture, and I would like to work with specialists with that. But yeah, the idea is really to have something that talk about the characters as human living in an extreme capitalist society. Question 7. Why did you specifically choose Future compared to the original? Okay, so Future for me is like, it's funnier gameplay wise, it's more over the top design wise, it's just more, like basically Jet Set Radio Future is Jet Set Radio more. And I think Jet Set Radio deserved to be more. And yeah, that's it. That's why I chose it. Also because I knew Jet Set Radio through Jet Set Radio Future. So for me, Jet Set Radio is like Jet Set Radio Future, and Jet Set Radio is just a first try, you know? No offense, of course, like we'll come to that later. But yeah, that and yeah, no, for me, Jet Set Radio Future is like remain the ultimate form of Jet Set Radio. And also the idea of like future like gives a bit more of opening, like an hypothetical way out, and give like some time to change shit, you know what I mean? And that being said, I think Jet Set Radio, so the original Jet Set Radio, is visually superior. Like the vibrance of the color, the artistic direction, the more cartoonish style, the hardcore cell shading. Like for me, it's really really powerful, and that's why I actually taking inspiration of both. As you can see in the beginning of the animation test, the color of the sky and everything, like all the color palette of Shibuya is basically like picked from Jet Set Radio, but Koganecho is really picked from Jet Set Radio Future. So I really try to work the mood of the places that way and just find like a balance between everything. Question 8. As we get closer to Jet Set Radio 3 eventual release, you think you might do something similar to Jet Set Radio Hero to promote the game? First, why eventual? I think at this point it's really official, right? What do you think? And would I do something similar to promote the game? I don't think I would go with an animated short to promote the game, but I think if I was taking part of Jet Set Radio 3, I would love them to give a bit more visibility to the character, giving them a bit more personality, and I would like to have like little short animated segment to maybe introduce the character, like some really hyper beat, like really, you know, like some really ecstatic animation to introduce the character, you know. I would love to do that for each character. That would be amazing. So yeah, if someone from Sega is listening to that, like, do not hesitate to contact me. I'm absolutely open to work with you guys. Is there any big hopes you have for Jet Set Radio 3? Yes, of course. Jet Set Radio 3, please do not lose your identity. Don't try to please everyone. It will not work. I said earlier that Jet Set Radio was supposed to be more, but I think it have to be, how can I say, balanced in a way. So I think I would just love to have like an experience that is like in the continuity of Jet Set Radio Future and Bomb Rush Cyberpunk, because it was actually a good follow-up gameplay wise. I think it was a nice in between Jet Set Radio and Jet Set Radio Future. You have like all the graffiti thing with the risk, but the gameplay is still extremely fluid and like rewarding in a way. So I think I would like something similar. I see that they added some parkour kind of stuff, so it's going that way, so that's cool. And yeah, basically if I have like any specific hopes, I would like when the game will be finished to have story extension or like some annex stories, you know, like some secondary quest or stuff like that. So yeah, that, like they did like in Mortal Kombat 1 or Tekken 8, you know. That I would like to have some skins, because I think that's something that was really lacking for the first games. So basically, yeah, Jet Set Radio skin, Jet Set Radio Future skins, and for the newcomers, like 2-3 skins. I don't want like a bunch of DLCs like for Christmas, for Halloween, stuff like that. I think that's really useless and like no. For all that is customization, I think that would be nice if there is an online version of it. Yeah, like in Street Gears, you know, That would be nice. But basically, yeah, no, I don't want to have too much hopes. I want them to surprise us. You know, like when I discovered Jet Set Radio, I had no idea of what I was going to play. So I would like it to be the same, if that makes sense. And yeah, but really, like my biggest hope is to have like a good offline experience. I don't want it to be like a Fortnite like game, you know. Question 10. Do you prefer the OG or Future? What is your favorite song of both? Well, at this point, I think it's pretty clear that Jet Set Radio Future is my favorite. My favorite. Like, yes. Design, gameplay, story, music, everything, in my opinion, is better. The only point Jet Set Radio could have for me, so yeah, the visual, in terms of like, as I said, the colors, the artistic direction is more on point for my taste. And yeah, it's also, I don't know, it's probably a better game for the people who think that a good game have to be like a hard game. I guess that's good for that. That's not my opinion, but I totally respect that, and I really think that all fans should be happy with the game. Like whether you're a casual gamer or a hardcore fan, I think everybody should be happy about the game. And for the favorite songs from Jet Set Radio, it would be Rock It On. I think it's really dope, the whole revolution thing and everything. I think it works so well. And for Jet Set Radio Future, I will of course go with The Concept of Love. I think the whole sample thing, the origin of the sound, no, everything is perfect about The Concept of it. Works so well. Like, I can listen to that like for years, and it never disappoints. Like, that's absolutely crazy. So yeah, I will go with this one. And the honorable mention, I think, would be Humming the Baseline. This is jam, you know, like it's really cool. So yeah, that's it for the musics.
And that was the interview. Again, thank you so much, Axel Massa, for the opportunity to interview you. I was very honored to do so. If you guys want to support him once again, there will be a link in the description of all of his socials and the way you can support him down below. Please, it would be greatly appreciated. Show your support to Jet Set Radio Heroes as well. It is fantastic. Show Sega why we love Jet Set Radio by sharing it around, and if we're vocal enough, maybe we could make something like this possible in the future. With that being said, thank you all for watching, and I hope you all have a fantastic day. Take care.